Right, let's take you through the front pages this morning. If you are just waking up, this is the Times. We've been talking about this. Labour's tax plans trigger exodus of millionaires. What a surprise. I mean, you could have seen this coming, but anyway, the detail of this. When you look at the non-doms, they paid an average of $800,000 of VAT in the last year, $890,000 in stamp duty over the previous 5 years. Many people commenting on this and just saying the whole thing is shambolic.
It was already bad before Rachel Reeves came in, and she's just accelerated it. I mean, we're already leaking money. Now it's a massive hole.
My favourite line, David Hawkins of Foreign Investors for Britain, a group representing non-doms, described the government's policy as a monumental act of national self-harm. We're really good at these.
Oh, yeah.
Aren't we?
Imagine if we had good people, and we'd be flying, wouldn't we?
Yeah. So that is the front page of the Times. A record number of millionaires have left Britain since Starmer came to power amid growing concerns that Labour's tax plans are exiling international investors and damaging the economy.
Well
Do you
done,
think
well
Rachel
done for
Reeves...
the Times
Does Rachel Reeves know that she's there to grow the economy, not damage the economy?
Well, someone should tell her.
Someone
But
should.
well done to the Times for reporting that, because otherwise people wouldn't really know, really, would they?
Very true. The Daily Telegraph this morning, Trump to rule on Starmer's Chagos deal. Labour rushing to get this over the line because apparently for some unknown reason Mauritius says it owns the Chagos Islands. There was a non-binding resolution which was passed to say that we should hand over the Chagos Islands to Mauritius. Now, the Chagos Islands are really important, strategically important. It has a huge airbase on it in Diego Garcia. Donald Trump, so basically there's been a lot of political shenanigans going on, and Trump says he will rule on the future of the Chagos Islands after his team intervene. The UK government has pivoted, saying, oh, well, Starmer has delayed the announcement because it's only right and proper that Trump has a say. No, he didn't. He didn't have any choice.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be so interesting to see what happens in this first week. One of the big things I'm looking forward to seeing is their energy policy, which is Trump is not afraid to say about fracking and, what does he say, drill, baby, drill.
Drill, baby, drill.
And you know, I saw a video on Instagram, some guy was moaning about filling up his car and the cost of his petrol. And I calculated, because they do gallons and dollars on it, I calculated it. Now, I have a 1.2 litre VW Polo, very average car, right? 42 litres to fill it full, about 10 gallons. Cost me about £56 to fill it up, maybe 60, depending on how expensive the fuel is. I calculated it to their expensive model in America. It was 35 quid.
Yeah.
What are you moaning about?
So when I lived in the States, it was insanely cheap. And that's why everyone has big cars over there, because it was much cheaper. Actually, it is expensive compared
But people
with
don't
what it
realise
was.
that the price of energy controls everything.
Exactly.
Everything. I mean, businesses and even
Inflation.
your own personal finances and inflation. But obviously we are snubbing our own North Sea. I mean, we are literally doing the opposite of what we should be doing.
And yet we're sitting on £2 trillion worth of treasure sitting under the North Sea. $2 trillion.
When it came to, when Liz Truss was in briefly, and each local authority was having a vote on fracking, and everybody, even the Conservatives, they abstained, I still went for it. I was one of the only ones that still went in favour for it, yeah.
Let's take you through the rest of these quickly. Daily Express, don't you dare target the triple lock again. Conservatives and Labour seem to be waging war on older people. As I was saying, this is the front page of the FT this morning. Starmer touts Trump relations. He's basically saying we're jolly good chums. He says the inauguration on Monday will not add to his political woes. He says we have a constructive relationship. Do you? Anyway, that's what the Prime Minister says. The Guardian, front page, Tory plan to build 40 new NHS hospitals in tatters. At least half of the 40 new hospitals pledged by Boris Johnson will not be built until the 2040s. Labour's preparing to announce that many of the crumbling NHS hospitals in England that were due to be replaced by 2030 are being removed from the building programme. This is a huge story, but also just looking at those terrible pictures, you know, people being treated in corridors. I mean, it's just barbaric.
It just makes me think, what was it all about in 2019 when the Conservatives were saying about, obviously, the hospitals and levelling up? I remember I stood in Nottingham, a really run-down area, and there was an electronic sign, and it said, levelling up is here, and I went, is it? Is this it? You know, I don't understand that. So people are going to be massively annoyed by this, and rightfully so, on the promise of something. Look, you can't fudge that, can you? 40 new hospitals. You either have them or
you don't have them. Well, of course, it wasn't 40 new hospitals. It was a fudge in the first place.
And bigger ones,
you can have a porter cabin shoved next to your hospital. The front page of the Eye this morning. Let's move on to that. This is going to make you very angry this morning. Train drivers to demand bigger 2025 pay deal in a new headache for Labour. So the train drivers say that, well, they haven't done very well.
They'll be the wealthiest people in the country.
Well, tell me about it. So they want more money. And, of course, this is the whole problem. So basically what they're saying, they will demand an increase over and above the 4.5% offered by the government in 2024. They say, oh, we've had lost earnings due to the cost of living crisis. Who hasn't? He warns the government that they want more. They've got 5% rise for 2022-23, 4.75% for 23-24, 4.5% for 2024-25. The average is 59,000. I'm off to drive a train.
Well, I was about to say, maybe we and you should go into the job centre and retrain.
We could drive trains. We'd be very good.
I mean, to be fair, those jobs, I mean, you go into the tube, you go to Gatwick, right?
Yes.
And they're automated. They have these little things that go back and forth. There's no drivers on them, right?
No.
I mean, that's what's heading. I mean, the tube is obviously, they're heading that way. The only thing that's really keeping them in the job are the unions.
Yeah, that's right.
And so the train companies are saying, all right, fine, we'll keep them, but your prices are going to be more expensive than they need to be. So they're probably getting their final burst of pay before they're gone.
Daily Mail front page, found after 80 years the secret diary of Hitler's English girlfriend. The long-lost secret diaries of Hitler's English girlfriend are unveiled by the Daily Mail today. Wow. So that's the front page of the Daily Mail. The Daily Mirror, farewell to the lawman. We'll talk more about this later in our sports review. Manchester United legend Dennis Law has died aged 84. He was known as the Lawman. The former Scotland forward became one of Old Trafford's most loved players after joining them in 1962. Very sadly, he had battled dementia since 2021. Tom Clayton will tell us far more about that in his roundup, which will be about 7:43, about 3/4 of an hour time. And the Daily Star, best headline, make Hollywood great again. Orange Man baby Donald Trump's first job as leader of the free world is to give Rocky Balboa the mega important job of restoring the golden age of Hollywood. That's really interesting, actually. So he's given the jobs to Mel Gibson, John Voight, Sylvester Stallone. Their job is to make Hollywood great again. It's to ensure the world-famous filmmaking hub is bigger, better and stronger than ever before. It will be again like the United States of America, the golden age of Hollywood.
It is interesting. It is a big export of America's, and it's huge soft power of theirs to influence. So, yeah, I think it's cool that he's doing that. Interestingly, that's actually one sector that the UK's been pretty good at.
I was about to say exactly that.
In these near me, there's an area, Shepperton, I think it's.
Shepperton?
Yeah. So
and Pinewood?
Yes, not far from me, and that's been booming, which is great news. Now, I'm sure Reeves will find a way to...
Well, she'll take away all the tax incentives that they've got currently.
No, well, she'll probably, not even incentives, she'll probably find ways to...
tax it.
Squeeze it.
Yes, great idea. Yeah. I mean, so that's fascinating. He says that Hollywood is in a very troubled place at the moment. It has lost much business to foreign countries, including the United Kingdom. So we shall see. How will the Orange Man baby get on? Oh, that brings me nicely to the question this morning. I'm asking, given the inauguration is on Monday, just a few hours' time, is it a day of celebration or a day of mourning for the United Kingdom? Get in touch, please.